Welcome to the March 1st, 2022 Facilities Committee meeting of the Cheltenham School District. First, I will start with a roll call. I will read off your name. Please share whether or not you are present or not. Ms. Henry.
Present.
Mr. Cohen.
Present.
Ms. Lohmann.
Here.
Ms. Haywood.
Present.
Mr. Schultz.
Present.
Mr. Fishbein.
Here.
Mrs. Mulhern.
Here.
Mr. Epps.
Present.
And I am also present somehow. No, but I'm here virtually. I first want to ensure that if folks have had the opportunity to review the minutes, that we can motion, or that there is a motion to approve those minutes from our February meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Zachary Epps.
Okay. And all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
All right, meeting minutes are approved. And I will now turn it over to Mr. Holman for a presentation for the board and the community.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. Let's jump right into it. All right. Can you see my screen? All right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, a mission statement, a vision statement. We know what they are. So, starting it off, February custodial training. As I spoke, there's always a need for ongoing training. Floor care is a science by itself. So on the what day was that? The 18th in service day. That's when we did that at Cheltenham Elementary School. It was 10 leads and head custodians that took part in that. The window tinting project at Cedarbrook Middle School, junior high school, right? I'm sorry. As you see, the picture on the left is not done. The picture on the right is done. It's a tremendous difference in that environment. McClure is currently, Winco Elementary School, the Glyco Tower project that's being done in the shop, and it continues to be a work in progress. Glenside Elementary, the barrier installation, which is the gas train protection, that'll be installed this coming Saturday. At the high school, we got concerns of discolored hot water coming from the faucets. Environmental controls, it was a contractor who was a testing agency, was immediately contacted to conduct testing and sampling. It was concluded that the system has a severe hard water problem. The system was flushed and we're back in normal operations. We are looking into corrective measures, which include installing a water softener. Myers Elementary School, this is the boiler there. This is due to a most likely a misfire. It stood it up, and the way we knew that, Mr. Anthony Carter, one of our building mechanics, he noticed smoke coming out of the chimney, and which is actually soot. And he turned the boiler off and called no danger to anybody. It just and as you see, the picture next to it is a boiler taken apart, being cleaned by Chadwick Services. So we're looking to see what happened, what caused that. And it's a number of reasons. We don't want to recreate it, of course, but if we could just fix it and, look in the chat, would give us that answer. Rotary mower, the existing mower, our existing mower is 25 years old and has exceeded its life expectancy of 10 years. The total cost to repair the outdated mower is $17,000. This machine can mow 20 plus acres an hour, and the high school is 49.2 acres. Now let's go over to the lease, to the your lawn and golf and supply Univest Capital statement. It's $110,000 for the machine. It's a 60-month lease at $2,037.49. Now, when I was in Pennsbury, and mind you, I was only in Pennsbury less than 6 months ago, I bought the same machine or leased the same machine for $98,000. So that's how much the prices are going up. So when I called to get the quote for this one, the salesman said, well, the machine you ordered that I ordered in Pennsbury, they still haven't gotten yet. So that's about 8 months behind. So if we don't act now, we'll be that much further behind when it comes to our lawn care. And the 17,000 will then turn into, who knows how much that will turn into once we proceed. Now it brings me to our work order system, our work order closeouts. If you look, our open PM work orders is 2,880. Our other open work order is 459, with a total open work order of 3,339. Well, let's go back to last month's open PM work orders. There was 3,864 open PM work orders and 577 open work orders, with a total of 4,441 open work orders. I explained to you that I wanted to have a better understanding of how these things were done and understanding of the system also. Well, how we were able to close out over 1,000 work orders, we didn't close out 1,000 PM work orders by doing the work. The work orders weren't closed out prior. So we had 18, 19, and 20s in there. So if I have a filter, if I change a filter on a piece of equipment, I can't change it for 18, 19, and 20. I can only change it for 21 and 22 fiscal year. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not, I'm being transparent with you because I want you to understand that we're doing our best due diligence going forward to ensure that we close out all the work orders, so that we have this is a reset, if you would, so that we have a clearer picture. You can't go back and lubricate a pump back in time and do that, because it's just you're lubricating the pump. So that's where we're at with the work orders, and that pretty much concludes my presentation for the facilities department, the Cheltenham School District. Let me, I forgot, I gotta stop share. All right, there we go. All right.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Holman. I'll first go to appreciate the presentation. First of all, I'm going to go out to the board for any questions. I see one hand at a time from Mrs. Haywood.
Thank you very much, Mr. Holman, for that presentation. It's a lot going on in our school district, way beyond, I'm sure, what you have presented this evening, but thank you. Just a couple of questions. Could you explain the gas train project? I don't know what that means.
And I'm sorry, I was just updating the previous, something from a previous meeting where at Glenside, there was an unprotected exterior gas train. So we're going to protect it with the bollards. So that's going to be installed this weekend on Saturday.
Great, thank you very much. And then just a couple other questions for the Cedar Brook flooding. I think you might have missed that bullet when you did your presentation. We're still basically analyzing that problem, correct, based on the slide?
Correct. Well, You're correct. We have a third party that Justin, our solicitor, said to utilize. So I've given him all the information, and he and I spoke today, and we are looking to have a resolve or a plan of action soon, very soon.
Okay,
Right?
thank you. My last question is related to the rotary mower.
Mhm.
Is the expected useful life of that rotary mower 10 years? For
Correct.
any new rotary mower? Okay. So if we lease that rotary mower and pay for it for 5 years and not own it, right? Leasing versus purchasing it.
I'm sorry, Miss Haywood, I apologize. I failed to make mention that the last payment is $1. So we actually do keep the mower.
Okay.
I do apologize. I left that nugget out. So please accept my apologies for that.
Okay, no. That's very helpful.
And that's why it's attractive, because it doesn't take a chunk of the budget. It just, over time, and then you take a break from leasing it, and then you go into another lease and just buy it for another $1 at the end of the lease. So it keeps your it's a fleet of 2 machines, but your fleet will be newer. You know what I mean?
Right. So that's thank you very much for clarifying that, because I was a little concerned. Own the equipment. So are we then looking at 5 years from that purchase date, possibly looking at that useful life of that mower either declining or dissipating down to repair mode? And that could conceivably mean another 110 or more in 10 years. And I'm trying to just balance short-term 17,000 versus, a 5-year lease, obviously incremental payments every year. So can you walk me through the value of the 17,000 for repair and how long you think that would last versus entering into this 5-year lease for purchasing, which is a big purchase?
Correct. And I appreciate that question. The rationale was that we would not get this mower, the new mower, for another year, if we're looking at the supply chain and the climate that we're in now. So we're looking at a year off, but if we want to have a good, a healthy field, playing field environment conditions, this is the kind of mower that, spending the 17,000 into the used mower, to our current mower, which is currently in the shop, it does it make sense to do? No, it doesn't. But because we're in a situation where we don't have any choice, because if I could go to the lot and buy this mower, then no, you're right. It doesn't make sense to spend $17,000. But if we're going to be up to a year out, the conditions of our fields are going to deteriorate to a degree. Not so much deteriorate, but they won't be playable. And what I want to produce for our athletes.
But we would probably have to incur the $17,000 in repair cost if we have to wait a year to get the mower that costs $110,000 today, right?
Correct.
So we're really looking at, I'm just trying to be, clear in my head. We're really looking at 127,000 if you add in the 17,000 to carry us over. Correct. Until we have a new mower. Okay, thank you.
I'm not seeing any more questions. I am seeing a question. Mr. Epps.
Thank you, and Mr. Bordeaux Williams. Thanks, Mr. Holman, for the presentation. Don't have a question. Wanted to offer, in honor of Women's History Month, my grandmother, Gloria Allen, always said, celebrate the small wins. I happened to be at Myers Elementary earlier today, and they have some new shelves in their library, shelves that are at the perfect height for the students so they can see and grab the books. And so I just wanted to offer some public gratitude to folks on the facilities team who made that happen over at Myers.
And we took the opportunity, not the Myers team, they did all that. the shelving, but we took the opportunity while the shelves were out to put new lights in, to do, we took advantage of the situation. And Sergio Saletti and Mike Nixon and the team, they led an awesome effort over there. So, thank you for noticing. We really appreciate that. It's the little things. So
That's awesome.
mhm.
Appreciate the recognition as well, Mr. Epps, definitely. Anything else from the board? I will look to our attendees. Looks like we have a question, hand raised. Just want to remind the public that when you are given the opportunity, please share with everyone on the call where in the township you reside or your relationship to the school district, and your full name prior to your comment or question. If the Zoom room can let in Mr. Schmidt, I believe he is here. Mr. Schmidt, can you unmute yourself and see if we can get you on audio? I see that you are in there you are. Hello?
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Actually, it was a little premature because I'm pushing the different buttons on the bottom. But since we are talking about equipment and furniture, my name is Martin Schmidt. I live in Glenside, and I'm a frequent examiner of things in Glenside at the Glenside Elementary School. So I wrote you all a long email. It has to do with a strategic plan, but also with the budget. I feel that this school district throws a lot of things away that they could either be repaired or given to other schools or whatever. But my question I had in my email, and I got a response which seemed to be like a sort of a general response to anybody. If you want to say something, come to the meeting. And I don't know if my email is going to be answered, but I have several questions. One is, who can buy things at this school district? Can anybody just order things, or do they have to have show a need for something? The other thing I have is, who can decide to throw something away? I wrote a little email to Mr. Lohmann because a week ago on Sunday, I walked by your trash can again down there at Glenside Elementary. There were at least 6 little chairs in there that were perfectly fine, except the glides were missing. Whatever the bottom, something was missing, and they decided to throw them out. And I wanted to take a picture of them. The next morning, they would waste management had come and had emptied the thing by the time I got there. So they were gone. But I don't understand how things are getting. And in my email, I showed you pictures of material, of teaching material, of all sorts of things that are being thrown away. The trash cans are thrown away at the high school. Seems like. And even though this is petty, you may want to say, oh, you may think this is not immaterial, but a lot of things, little things add up to big things, to an amount of money. And even if the school district cannot repair it or doesn't want to use it, they might be able to donate it. Why does it have to go into a landfill? That's my question. It seems like there is no control over what people can do at the various schools. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I said I wanted to know if we could implement a way of reporting to the public who your vendors are and how much we buy from them and what we buy from them. And then the third thing I said was the budget. the audit report. I know you're going to talk about the audit report today, but I have not seen one on your website in a long time. I don't know if I'm looking at the wrong place, but I have not seen one. And in the past, the audits reports would address internal control issues, which was dropped a long time ago. I guess it can't afford it, but internal controls are very important. You spend over, I don't know, $110 million now a year. It is a lot of money, and you need to have controls, and they should be audited. That's all I have to say.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. I appreciate your questions. So there were 3 questions. If I could just frame what I heard from you. One was who can purchase things. The other is who decides whether we direct things that we deem not in condition or in operational condition, or just things we just deem we're throwing away. Who makes that decision, and if in fact there's an option for us to donate versus throwing things out. And then thirdly, a question regarding, I guess it looks like I have 4 questions now. One is about who our vendors are, who are listed, and if we have a list of those vendors and what we buy from them. And then 4th is around internal controls. So just specifically, I do know that we'll be speaking a bit about the budget, sorry, not the budget, my bad, our financial audit and the results of that, and that I will just again push the questions about internal controls and expenses as they relate to our audit to our finance committee, or also to our team here. But also want to I see that Dr. Scriven is here. I also see 2 hands raised from the board, but Dr. Scriven, you have taken yourself off of mute, so I'm just wondering if that's an opportunity for you to want to jump in and answer any of the questions as listed.
Yeah, what I would propose is that if Mr. Schmidt said that he has forwarded emails to central office, if he would be kind enough to direct those questions directly to me, I will make sure that he gets the appropriate responses.
Okay, I appreciate that. I do think that'll be the best path to be able to provide the most extensive answers at this time. Thank you. And I see 2 questions, 2 hands raised. I'll go to Mrs. Haywood first.
Since I already spoke, I'm going to defer to Mr. Schultz. He can ask his questions first, and I'll go after him.
Yeah, if I may, Charles, can I just respond also to Mr. Schmidt briefly?
Please do.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to highlight in particular to your audit question, Mr. Bedell Williams alluded to this, but in the presentation immediately after this meeting, so in 5 minutes, whenever, there is an agenda item discussing the audit. The audit is performed every year. You are right. We are the stewards of a large amount of tax dollars, and our budget is large. It is audited every year. There's also a policy that you might want to check out, policy 619, which talks about our requirements for an audit and the like. And the audit is a document that I believe the public is able to see, whether they have to email to request it or it's posted on the website. I actually don't remember. I don't know that specific detail, but if you're interested in viewing it, I'm sure you can request it and get a copy. So thank you.
Appreciate the clarity, Mr. Schultz. Thank you. Mrs. Haywood.
Yes, just wanted to thank Mr. Schmidt for his comments and questions. And I think one, in terms of the recommendation of what we do with the rotary mower when it really has exhausted its useful life, I definitely would be in favor of responsibly either disposing of it or giving it to someone or donating in some way. So again, we don't fill up landfills. One question though, in terms of the cost, have we done a cost comparison? Is that kind of the going price for a rotary mower? I have no idea how much they cost. I know it's an industrial size, I'm sure.
That's the average price. Did I do a cost comparison for? I just wanted to I just wanted to introduce it to you guys so that you can have an understanding of the direction that I wanted to go in. At the time I purchased the one in Pennsbury, yes, that was the best product for the best price also. But things change, of course, but I just to answer your question, did I do a what's the word I'm looking for? Did I shop around? No, I did not shop around. You're being honest, because I was just trying to get what's your appetite with this, for lack of a better term.
And again, while I am totally supportive of getting a working rotary mower, whether it's through repair or replacement, I would request as one board member that we get some additional cost to see if this is really a best cost, and see also if the MCIU through their purchasing cooperative could get us a comparative cost list.
This is, the company is also CoStarz. So they do, they are on that buying power. But even then, there's still ways you can get around CoStarz to get better prices with people who are on CoStarz. So I do understand it also. So, all right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I do appreciate that question as well, Ms. Haywood. Don't see any more hands at this particular time. I do see one that just was quickly raised by Mrs. Lohmann.
Sorry.
Ms. Lohmann, floor is yours. No, it's fine.
I just thought about it. I'm sorry, Mr. Holman. It just occurred to me, wasn't in your presentation, but I was wondering what the status is of the oh, I forget what it's called, but the library at the high school, the piping, where that.
We looking at my board, if I have updates. High school library, McHugh Engineering is doing the study there as as requested, third party, and we're having a hard time finding the CAD drawings. For example, that's what we're being requested of. Yesterday, McHugh and I had a conversation, and they have sent back a proposal, I guess, or some, but it's nothing final because we don't have the CAD drawings. So can I provide an update with the weekly updates? Would that be helpful?
Sure, yeah, and because that air conditioning system isn't being used right now, our students are using that space?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
We can use it during the winter, spring, because the pipes, what causes the problem is the pipe sweat during AC time. So they condense water, condensing, and which causes all the bad stuff. But we are using it now because we're only running heat and outside air. So, all right. And I've been to the high school there, it's packed. So,
Okay,
which is
that's
good.
good.
So,
Thank you. Thank you.
So Ms. Lohmann, I do have one question, just from the perspective of being able to provide an effective update. Would it be okay if, in fact, we didn't have to push to have something updated on Friday, and that as soon as the information is available, that it could be presented to the board? I just wanted to give Mr. Holman an opportunity to continue to troubleshoot that effectively.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I just wondered where things were with that.
No, that's very, very fair request. I know that's something that, a project that we recently completed within the last few years. And sorry, I think exactly 2 years. So understood there.
And I understand. I do understand the want to put this behind us and move forward with conducive environments for learning. You know, happy space for happy kids, right? So
Appreciate that, certainly. So whenever the information is available, we're certainly looking forward to it. Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board, from the community? All right. I do appreciate Mr. Holman, you for the presentation and also for all of the various questions and comments from board and community this evening. At this time, I will ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So moved, Zachary Epps.
Yep, Pam Henry.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that passes. Thank you, everyone.